We're recording. Hey, everybody. I'm very happy to have our next our guest on here for solution-based law enforcement services. A really good friend of mine, Jack Crowley, combat veteran. I'll let him introduce himself to you guys. Go ahead, Jack. Tell us who you are.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah, so I'm going on a little nature walk right now. So I know we had technical difficulties beforehand, but it's a nice day out, so why not?
Do it.
Um, yeah, Dave Shack. I kind of went through a lot for years, but everyone does, But I did firefighting, EMS training, academy before the Navy, so like private EMS for a little bit, then went in the Navy. Basically, make a long story short, went from Great Lakes boot camp, corpsman school, down to Gitmo for 18 months, 15 days. Did the whole Haiti earthquake stuff. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can like read up, but like I said, it's a team effort. I don't, I'm one of those guys. Mike will tell you, like I don't care about the medals, or whatever. But like anyway, so I went West Coast, went to FMTV Camp Pendleton, got attached to 1-7, Suicide Charlie's like an Osprey front unit type deal. Did the World Cup, went to Bridge for all that stuff. Sang in Afghanistan in 2012. I did my thing there. Came back. They're like, well, you either go back to Afghanistan, 3-7, or CTC. So I was trying to be a CTM instructor, and they kind of made some bullshit rules. And I didn't need points. They didn't count get my outside deployed, and then they did. And it ended up being just MU guys, the people that never. Yeah, that's the thing I'm getting with. Like, we'll talk about that further down, but yeah. So I did all that stuff. Taught like CLS, live tissue, all that shit while I was in the military. Got out, went into contracting. I think I got my T-CCC instructor with Sec 4. They're pretty legit too. I did some stuff for them and other groups throughout the years. Worked a couple of private to fire departments for part time. You know, worked on one EMS for a bit, and then did like Columbus Fire Auxiliary, and just had to do ride along for my advanced EMT and nursing stuff. I got recently too, get my hours in. So I'm still in it, and I still contract every now and then and teach classes. That's basically I teach like CPR trauma classes for military and civilian, and that's basically it. So I'm just trying to not like stop this nice little garden and buy. It's nice out.
So
Sorry.
you're absolutely right. And so just for the viewers watching, this is how real professionals, private professionals are. As you can see, he glossed over a lot. So I know they don't matter, but tell us what kind of military achievement medals you do have, just so the audience can really
Uh,
understand.
oh,
Um,
I'll make it simple. I didn't lie about my medals like Tim Kennedy. It's
yeah,
the two medals that Tim Kennedy claimed. I mean, it doesn't define who I am, man. Like honestly, like people my splash for that medals too. You know what I mean?
and you are in the Ohio. You have been inducted into the Ohio. What's it called? Is it a Hall of
Oh,
Fame?
Valor,
Yeah. So what
and
Valor
also
awards do you have for those that don't know?
Crosshair V and Purple Heart, but that's it. Never got Navy achievement. I was too much. I was not a kiss ass. I basically was the E4 with a 15 rack that didn't give a shit. So
Bronze Star with Valor, Purple Heart, no big deal. Well, okay, so you're right, no big deal. And that again, brother, that's why
well,
I'm
and
glad you have
that's
you
the
here.
thing. Like I feel like a lot of these idiots like Kennedy and all these SF guys are oversaturating the market with their bullshit lies, and it fucks over guys like me and you. I try to like not make veterans look like a shit bag, so it kind of fucks us
Right.
over.
So again, for those of you who are watching, this is there's a reason why neither me or Jack are in the bro space, in the vet bro space, and as you can see, um, again, it our our military service shouldn't define who we are. And like Jack saying, what we want to talk about is we can't live and stay in the glory days. We have to keep pursuing our
Yeah,
education. We have to keep getting better, right? We have to keep improving ourselves because the only way to improve our respective communities, whether it's firefighting, EMS, or law enforcement, is we have to keep training and being better. And as you can see with Jack, right, has a very long pedigree in emergency medicine, trauma, firefighting, and myself again have some. I was a hospital corpsman as well as many of you guys know, but I kind of went the other route because I have a lot of family in law enforcement, so I kind of went the law enforcement route. So we kind of went two different routes in that regards. But is it fair to say, Jack, that all first responders in general we're failing the community right now? Do you think?
well, I think what it is people forget. It's interesting because the fall of Afghanistan was 4 years ago, but the anniversary wasn't that long ago either. People already forgot. So right now we're in the mindset of like post Vietnam right now, and I think we're in pre 9/11 mode. And I think people haven't been humbled as much, or it hasn't happened in the doorsteps yet. That's when people listening or listen, like because like I feel like people like me and you, we can ramble all day, but until something bad happens, that's when they start listening to us. That's like, oh, told you so. It's like the hot hand if fed on a stove. It's like, don't put your hand on the stove and they do it anyway.
Right. So where do you think law enforcement, you train a lot in law enforcement. You just got done with a huge course here. We were trying to get this. I want to do this interview sooner, but you've just been packed out with training. So you train everybody, contractors, triple canopy, military, SWAT
Yeah.
teams.
They basically need a certification to get a job, so they come to me.
And so you are able to teach these high level trauma courses, pretty much the highest level TCCC and medical courses that the United States offers, correct?
Yeah, I do. But like I said, I had this conversation with my friend who's a Thames who's also was an OIF, OEF veteran like us. We're not trying to gatekeep. We're not trying to make more chaos with red tape. We're trying to help people get trained, even when their hours don't permit. Like I noticed with public safety, especially law enforcement or first responders, it's really hard to coordinate training for people. You have the budget cuts, time, list goes on.
And how important, I mean, overall, and I can tell you how I feel, and we talked about this. Maybe you agree or disagree. I feel like, especially when it comes to just basic first aid, I feel like law enforcement is so underprepared that I feel like they're actually a bigger liability than they are help, just with the lack of knowledge they have when it comes to pressure dressings, tourniquets. I feel like a lot
Yeah,
of these
yes.
guys I feel like a lot of these guys want the cool gear, but they'll end up buying gear that they actually don't know how to use, and furthermore, they don't have the training to implement it appropriately. What do you think?
Yes and no. Because here's the deal. For example, let's talk about Narcan, right? You can actually get somebody too much Narcan, pull them in pulmonary edema. We had a guy when I worked in Union Township a few years ago. Make a long story short, one of the corrections officers um, gave too much Narcan. He did like 6 sprays under 2 minutes, create fluid in his lungs, and we had to fly him out. And I feel like again, there's something that's happening in the middle of training or something. And it goes back to what we're talking about training. Like I have a little homework assignment for you. Like next time we see a cop, no military background, ask them, hey, what's the C stand for cat tourniquet? They don't know that combat. And that's when like you can educate them like the why behind the stuff. That's where
Mhm.
it starts.
Right. It's kind of like AR-15. People think the AR stands for assault rifle, right?
Yeah, Armalite or whatever. Or whatever. Like I'm not like a big gun nut. I mean, I know like the basics, but I'm not gonna be like, oh, I should know this and that. But that's another thing, identity crisis. I think that's what it is too. For
Right.
public safety and military, because like everyone wants the glory days, but then they realize like, hey, the glory days are shit nowadays, and it's gonna get worse before it's better if it ever does. It's weird, man. Like I said, we're pre 9/11 mode right now.
No, you know, 100%. So, what are some of tell me some of the training that you offer for law enforcement, or do you think that law enforcement and the law enforcement that are listening to this, what do you think they should have based upon their job description, your everyday
Well, I
run of
mean,
the patrol guy?
just basic stop the bleed, man. Basic TECC Leo, basic TCCC or whatever. As long as they know how to, pack a wound, chest seal, tourniquet, get them off the X, call for help, I'm happy. I feel like a lot of people are like adding too much bullshit. Like I see officers with MPAs in the kits or needle decompression. I'm like, hey, bro, you this and that. They're like, no, I'm like, don't carry that shit on you. You fuck up, you're fucked. Even then, like, we're not licensed, you're fucked. It's
Right.
hard. You have to like have these conversations with them, explain the why. Again, nobody wants to explain the why anymore. They just want the money and not putting in as much work. I feel like
Yeah, no, I think yeah, no, I completely agree. What do you think your everyday run-of-the-mill citizen, concealed carry permit holder, people, because most of the time I imagine people that are listening, especially, in my space, a lot of these guys are probably going to be, everyday family people, everyday people. Maybe they carry a knife or they carry, a pistol, CHL holders. What kind of training do you think they should have?
well, it doesn't even have to be carrying a gun or anything. Like stop the bleed, the basic first aid and trauma. 'Cause I feel like people they get stuck in what we call an OODA loop in law enforcement. Like they get caught in the moment, and they forget the basics. They forget the direct pressure on the bleed and call for help. Like
So you
little things
think
like that.
so a stop the bleed course you think is good for just life,
In general, yeah, it stop the bleed should be as common as CPR classes. CPR first aid should be that common. It should be like merged together for
right?
everybody.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. I think that I can't tell you how many times I've had to implement, my training experience on things like everything from the Heimlich maneuver for somebody choking at a restaurant to car crashes that I've, come up upon, injuries I've come up upon. I think it's just, it's one of these things in life where, life happens around us. And I feel like there's far too many people that, are able to record on their cell phone, but unable to act in real life.
Well, I mean, again, back to the whole OODA loop thing or psychology and all that, alphabets too. People, it's weird. Like hell, I've been even when I worked rural EMS to volunteer for the city and stuff like that. Even contracting, I had people filming while I was contracting and stuff like that. Like even like out west, like we had to be like, oh, hush hush about, but like, yeah, man. I always tell people never assume that you're not being watched or being listened to. Never assume that. And I feel like if people have access to stop the bleed or make it more universal, make it more accessible, the better it is. You have a force multiplier. I would rather have a cop that knows how to put a tourniquet on than some Joe Blow that never have, and like make it a force multiplier and educate them from the top down.
So,
Like that's
yeah,
good.
no, go ahead. Cut you off.
I mean, like for example, CPR. I get people all the time. They go, "Oh, I already have CPR certification." I'm like, "Yeah, but do you have first aid?" They're like, "No," or like, "I think so," but they confuse CPR with general first aid trauma class all the time.
Right. No, that's a good point. That's a good point. What would you so would you say that from what we see, because I can tell you what I think personally, um I think stop the bleed is probably more, they're both important. CPR first aid is really important, but I feel like first aid and stop the bleed is probably, if I had to choose, like which one should you prioritize? I would probably prioritize the stop the bleed, to be honest with you. I think more people are going to run into that than somebody that they need to do CPR on. I know so many people, I know so many parents that have had to put a pressure dressing on somebody, but have never actually done CPR on somebody.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially when their kids get hurt, stuff like that. But the problem is you're running into the problem of these organizations that want money for every certification, and Stop the Bleed is more accessible. The only issue I have with Stop the Bleed, the instructor, including cops, and not being a dick or anything like that, but
Yeah.
it's like I would like at least be like a well-seasoned combat medic or corpsman or EMT or above, like. And that's the beauty of our fields, Mike, is if you try to learn something new every day, the day's not wasted. And I actually could save your life and somebody else's. Like I try to like have an open mind, even with students or instructors, like, all right, I can see where they're coming from. Like I now I know their mindset. That's
Right.
how like I think we gotta get that open mindset for training moving forward.
So let me ask you a question, a
Okay.
controversial question with EMT.
Okay.
We've talked about this, and if you don't want to answer it, that's fine.
Go
Uh,
for it.
my controversial. So there's this mindset that's still out there, still prevalently out there, because I've been seeing it pop up more and more. I'm pretty sure you have too. Can you just go ahead? Because I know that you know the board of directors for Teachable, like the big time people. Um, you
Yeah.
you are part of these circles. For those people that say we can't go to tourniquet first because it has to be as a last resort, what's your message to them? What's the
It's changed.
science?
It's changed. Well, there's evidence-based science, evidence-based methods of science. But anywho, I remember when I started fire and EMS, it was like '06, '07, and you can actually look at my licenses. I actually had my licenses since then, before and after the Navy. Anywho, I remember, you probably remember this too. I remember when everybody had to be backboarding. Like,
Yep.
everybody
Yep.
had like, you could have like a stub toe and they'd be like, oh, we got to put a seat collar on. We got this, nips, these, ankles. It's like, what the fuck? Like, why are we doing this? And it's funny because even in TCCC, like the old school TCCC sleds, which I think are still like, even though a lot of it's outdated, the history of it, I like it because it shows thousands of people from like other wars before us, like Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, whatever, of like how tourniquets have proven to reduce the amount of numbers because a lot of people were bleeding out from extremities and easy treatable wounds. Um, I think what happened over the years is everybody started getting greedy. All these organizations, they all like put out their own information. They use the same information, but then twist around with their own to make profit. I think that's the issue I've noticed too. Like ASHI or AHA, Red Cross, Stop the Bleed, like a lot of these. Or well, Stop the Bleed, I like because it's more easy and accessible. But everywhere else, like I even teach AHA, you have to pay a price, and that's same with NAMT and DHA, not so much, but DHA's got its own demons too. And people that are listening to this probably could agree with me, but I think there's too many chiefs, but not Indian. That's probably what's happening with like first aid training or medical training. Everyone's trying to reinvent the wheel that already works. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So would you say, in your experience, people should not be afraid to go to a tourniquet first if they come upon massive bleeding in an appendage, for example, somebody's arm?
Hey, there's the thing I always tell people, and other people have told me, look, I'd rather be safe than sorry. I'd rather put the tourniquet on. And if it's like a minor laceration, all right, yeah, I'm an idiot, whatever. But like, there's that one time you'll like hesitate and people die. And that's the thing. You can adjust it or whatever too. There's a number one killer for Ukraine is tourniquet conversions. Not a lot of people are teaching about that either because people just leave the tourniquet on and they forget about it, but they don't reassess it. That's another thing people forget to do too is like readjusting it
Right.
or checking it every time you move somebody.
Right. And so this is just, again, and I agree with you. We've talked about this. I just this stuff isn't taught. This stuff isn't. I mean, in order to get this training, you have to, it has to be sought after. And unfortunately, you're right about the gatekeeping.
Well,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say this, man. Like, you ever seen a movie like what's that movie like Warfare or whatever, with the or whatever it's called,
Uh,
Warfare.
I'm sure
I think
it's
the recent war movie was a scene.
right.
What cracks me up about that movie, and I'm talking shit about a lot of war movies.
That's fine.
Even like Heartbreak Ridge or whatever the fuck it is. Like oh, Hacksaw Ridge. Yeah, my bad.
Axel, yeah.
It cracks me up. These people are like massively bleeding. I just give them morphine and dip out.
Right.
You get a morphine and dip out. Like if I did that real, I'd be going to prison. Like they're like, "What'd you do?" I was like, "Yeah, I gave them like 5 hours." Like I just send it with like morphine, fentanyl, just dipped out. Like
Just note
I'd get
them.
out of prison.
Right. Right. So yeah, I think that there's just not a lot of I think there's not a lot of knowledge. I feel like tourniquets are still treated like they're taboo. And unfortunately, you're right, there is a lot of gatekeeping. And that's what I appreciate about you, is that you are, in my opinion, and by my opinion, I mean your credentialing speaks for itself 110%. You are somebody, and correct me if I'm wrong, if somebody wanted to or an organization wanted to do a course with you, they could immediately book you without any of the. You would be
No, not
accessible
him at
without
all.
any of the without zero red tape. They could get an instructor like you, and you could even fly out. You could do this training. Like, you're one of the few people that are out there in the nation right now that are trying to make this as mainstream as possible. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh yeah, I mean it's sad because like I try to like support these organizations and they still try to shit on us. They're like, oh, you're a peasant. You're not an 18 Delta cool guy who lies about his medals and shit. Thanks a lot, Marcus Luttrell. I'm joking. I'm joking.
You're not.
Same with Tim Kaine. Oh, like I'm not gonna talk shit about them too much because like I had this conversation with my cop. Like we were playing Ready or Not. He actually shot an active shooter short north. We call him One Tap. I'm not gonna say his name,
Right.
but like we were joking about that last night. Like, dude, if you're like a black belt and like a Green Beret millionaire, just shut the fuck up. Like, why would you lie?
Right.
You made it.
Right.
People
No,
don't
and
want to take
that's
the money and run anymore.
right. And that no, and that here's the thing. There's something to that because, you know, again, not to go off on a tangent, but um and that's and I think we are who we surround ourselves with. Like you
Mhm.
said, right? Like you come out, you obviously, and I'm gonna post your website. I'm gonna post a link where they can find you, but you know,
I'm still working on it, by the way, everybody. I know I have a life too. I'm like you, man. It's hard. I'm stuck with technology, so I know
right?
everyone's
No,
buzzing
you're
my
good.
balls.
I'll take care of that for you, brother. But it's just like you look at your Valor Awards and you look at what you've done just to the military, and it's nothing short of a miracle. It's nothing short of amazing. And then you see what you're currently doing, and I get it. It's like, why would I need to fluff anymore, right? There are obviously people that have done more than both of us, and that's fine. Like I don't feel like I need to compete. I don't feel like I need to,
No.
to do that. But at the
I
same
was at
time,
your own stomping grounds since sharing point. I'll think about it. Like, I didn't mean to cut you off. Like, I always
yeah,
think about you, Mike, the mile of pipeline you went to get where you were.
yeah,
People don't realize how much shit you went through before you got to law enforcement.
right. No, and again, and it's one of those things where, um, gosh, it's part of our journeys and it's made me the person I am today, but it doesn't define who I am. And so
Exactly what I was going to say.
it's one of those things where, I'm still learning, I'm still trying to be better. And these individuals that do come out into this space that do decide that they're going to like like I just saw a clip where Tim Kennedy's on a show and he's talking about how he's surrounded by 400 people and he's crawling to bodies and taking their ammo off
Oh,
of them.
yeah.
And I'm just like,
Well, same with the sheriff of Baghdad, the one Green Beret dude, Valhalla, whatever his name is. Like I watch him. He puts some good stuff on. There's like other guys I watch, or like kind of
right.
like are spoofs of them, or like or know of him. But like, yeah, like that's crazy about the sheriff of Baghdad too. He
Oh
went down
yeah.
too.
Yeah, Shrek, what's his name?
Correct.
McAfee or
I
something.
watched. I saw Sam Hyde. I saw Sam Hyde bash him. I kind of like some Sam Hyde stuff. Like also, I follow both left and right podcasts that are funny.
Right.
Like I try to like have a balance in the middle.
Right. And it's just, and here's the thing too. What's hard, and I know you more so than me, because I know that you've been inducted, you're around more of these people than I do, but you and I both have really close friends that are close to these guys, right? Um, like we
Mm.
both know people that know these guys, right? Like I'm not gonna say I've never met Tim Kennedy in person. I've never met John
He was
McAfee
supposed
in
to come
person,
here for
but
jujitsu stuff.
yeah, like yeah, and I know you roll too. So like I've never met these people in real life, but we
Occasionally.
all know people that know them directly, right? We know people that have their phone number directly. And so it's just crazy. Um, it's just crazy that number one, this is even a problem. And it's just crazy. It just shows you people's human nature, right? And so it's crazy what people are willing to do for money. And then it's crazy the issues that we have that I think this community, the vet bro community, by and large, want to rest their hat on. And so then that's why I think me and you get along so well, because at the end of the day, right, obviously if I turn my camera around, you can kind of see, like, I have a lot of cool, military hoo-yah stuff in my office. Like I do. I enjoy it. I enjoy looking at it. But again, it doesn't define me. If you look at the content I produce and you look at what I'm talking about, um, that's non sequitur. Like we are here trying to better people, utilizing the true skill set that we have. And I think what you're doing is extremely admirable. And I think that, you're one, again, in my opinion, and I say this as a state instructor, I'm certified FLETC instructor. I go all over the country as well, just like you, and I train. And there are very few people that are doing what you're doing, that are doing what we're doing. And I want to have faith that one day things will change. But right now, I just feel like there's so much information that I think that the world needs, people in this country need, and there's so many ways that things can be better. But I feel like we're in this OODA loop, as a country. We're in this social media content creation OODA loop,
No,
and it's just not getting
again,
done.
it's crisis. It's crisis identity, dude. It's all crisis identity. It's all about money and egos. Like it's
It's just
exhausting, man. That's
wild.
why I'm like, I don't chase people anymore. Like I'm like, you know what? I'm not trying to be a salesman anymore. I'm just gonna like just do. Like I actually, matter of fact, NBC in New York supposedly wants to see one of my classes. I was gonna offer you if you can get me like flights and stuff like that. I'll give you a huge discount. Do like a stop the bleed DoD course for your police department. Get a little. We'll talk more about that out
Sure.
offline, but yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that, again, I think that I think what you're doing is awesome. And again, for those of you that are watching this, I'm gonna post all Jack stuff in the comment and the description box. I might even do it in the comment section as well.
You know,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I actually am excited about this, even though I actually email. I might do jujitsu. One of my Marines who's above in the amputee. I might actually compete with him down St. Louis. That's gonna be fucking awesome to see. It's one of the guys that both Mark Sullivan and I had put a tourniquet on, and that's the thing, man. I try to give everybody credit. Which is, yeah, I put the tourniquets on everybody. Everybody helped me reassess, and everybody we all worked as a team, even though we're all fucked up, and that's how it should be. I wish we need to get the damn blimp drone video of my mask cast. I actually showed the video of me getting fucked up. My class is big. Look, I used to think like you guys. I used to think, oh, I'll never happen. And then I got humbled a few times. Even post military and EMS, I got humbled a few times too. And I feel like a lot of people, the change won't happen until they get humbled personally.
It's just so funny, right? Because I want everybody listening to this. I want them to really think about this for a second. So here you have Tim Kennedy talking about him crawling, trying to take ammo off of people, right, and fight back, which we know never happened. And then you have a real guy here, Jack Crowley, who has aerial drone footage of him getting blown up and fucked up, and he's still doing medicine, and he's still giving credit to his team. Like, again, what more? What more could you ask for? What more could you ask for an instructor? What more could you ask for in a human being? And so,
Oh, dude, you should hear us on Xbox, dude. Like one of the amputees I play with, Brad. I always like to this day I tell this to my students. It's a funny ass story. Um, the night we got hit, even though it was the worst night of our lives, like I remember Brad like asked me, even though I stopped to believe the tourniquets and packs his wounds, jumps wounds, all that shit. He's like, "Hey, is my taking balls to it?" Like I joke with him. I'm like, "Man, I think you stepped on that IED on purpose. You didn't
oh
come get you."
man,
Like,
no
but
joke.
like, but like the thing what kills me about these SF dudes is like I got video proof of it, what I've done. Like, I'm
Right.
sorry I wasn't SF or 18 Delta, sorry. But by the end of the day, we all lost the same war. Like we haven't won a war in a while. And I think people just need to get over themselves and just try to fix shit here before we fix shit overseas. That's just my 2 cents.
Well, there's a lot
Like,
of stuff here that needs to get fixed, and that's why we're talking. So, we've talked about what you think the everyday person should be training in.
yeah.
We've talked about what we think law enforcement should be training in. So let me ask you another question.
Mhm.
As somebody who lives in the country as well as we do, and somebody who works with law enforcement every day, outside of the medical stuff, where do you think law enforcement's failing?
Just not like you know what? I'll use an example.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say names.
that's
Columbus
fine.
Police and Fire of my clients and friends. They were trying to switch out the cat tourniquets with Sam tourniquets, Sam XT's last minute, but nobody trained them. They did like an hour online training, but nobody in the middle trained. And then like I'm not gonna say names as well. There's people using deployed medicine slides for CPD who are no longer EMTs or whatever. They were corpsmen or whatever, or Marines on the military, but like they're not licensed to do it. I think what it is yeah, keeping shit in house saves money, but in the long run fucks you over. And I'm not trying to upsell my business by any means, but I'm just saying like if you try to learn from other people outside your agency, the better off you are. Like I try to like study law enforcement not only here in America, the UK. You know, this shit that you and I are doing, like freedom of speech is like non-existent there. Like our constitution, and everything's getting like we're slowly losing our rights, slowly but
Right.
surely on certain things. And back to the otter people, like I think a lot of them are shit stars, but also a lot of them have good points. I see both sides of it, but like there's always a loophole in everything. Is what I'm trying to get at, dude.
Right. So let's talk about the auditor thing since I'm glad you brought that up because it's something that we were kind of talking offline. So I've taken a lot of heat for this. If you go look at my video that I did recently, um, I'm taking so much heat and and a lot of people don't know, right? I used to work in a really, really big city. I did, executive protection for Mayor Ted Wheeler and I have a lot of footage I haven't released yet I'm gonna release and kind of talk about this, but I've been in the auditor space. I've been around the First Amendment auditor space for 4 years. I mean, I've known you, I've known you about 15 years now.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so,
2009 since the Great Lakes, you and I
right,
actually scuba dive with disabled veterans too.
right.
I remember that.
Yeah. And so it's one of those things where, we've been at this for a hot second, but I've been around the First Amendment auditing space for a while. And I got so much heat for this, but I truly believe that these people are just what's the word I'm looking for? I think they're just acting, right? I think that they believe in what they're doing, don't get me wrong, but a lot of what we see on for content creators, right? They're creating content because they want people to consume it. They want people to look at it. And First Amendment auditors are no different, right? Like they don't act like the way they're acting on screen in real life. Now, I think they have great points, right? I don't think cops need to be violating people's rights. Cops need to understand what it requires to detain and compel and detain, right? Texas v. Johnson, right? There are all these case law that talk about what officers can and can't do. And I think the auditing space does a great job of, showing the stupidity and the incompetency of police officers. But at the same time, let's not pretend that they are doing this solely to become a hero and they're doing this solely because they care about the Constitution. There is a monetary incentive there as well. And for
Oh
us,
yeah, clout.
yeah,
Everything's about clout, man.
and for
It's
us
like
to
the
just,
TikTok.
yeah, go
Well,
ahead.
yeah, it's like the TikTok. It's like the TikTok nurses or cops or people are like, look at me during COVID. Like, it's like us dicking around during deployment. Same thing. Everybody wants that internet likes or clout or wants points for the dating apps. Like, I'm guilty of it. Like, hey, I'm I've done it. I've done it, but I realized over the years, like, it doesn't get you anywhere if you're thinking monetary.
Right. And so again, it's one of those things where it's like, man, let's just not pretend, right? Let's just not pretend that that's not happening and um that's
Oh
not
yeah.
going on. And so, it's just one of those things where I don't know. I think it's kind of funny. But again, I've gotten so much hate for that recently, and it's just so funny because again, I'm not trying to
Who
there's
cares?
yeah, there's this idea that, oh, by you
I mean,
downplaying.
even if you do shit right or wrong, people are gonna hate it
I
anyway. It
know,
doesn't
I know.
matter. Who
And it's just
cares?
funny because it's like this idea that, well, since you were saying they're doing it for money and they're doing it for likes, you're downplaying their achievements. And I'm like, I'm not downplaying anyone's achievements. If you feel that way, it's because in your mind, you feel like it's downplaying. I want people to make their money, how they want to do it, whether they want to act on a First Amendment audit and, yell at cops, or they want to do OnlyFans. Like, it's both acting and good for them.
And there's cops that are on
And
OnlyFans.
there's
Let's not
cops that
forget.
are on OnlyFans, and I'm sure there's
Yeah,
auditors
dude.
that are on
I
OnlyFans
worked with
too.
this one chick. I'm not gonna say names. She's on OnlyFans. Like, I remember one of the dipshits I worked. I'm not gonna say what department or whatever, but like, had her like picture stuff. I'm like, dude, you simp. You're part of the problem too. Like, this
Right.
big fat like. I mean, I know I'm fat and I'm trying to get in shape. Like, this dude looks like I ate you. He's a planet.
That's
And
hilarious.
he's the dude that like throws racks at this chick just to show her like it just kills me how in public safety and military people with OnlyFans or whatever, like this not just the what's the word, like they contradict each other.
Right. The hypocrisy of it all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's just, again, it's one of those things where um we know that it's happening. We know that these people are trying to, and again, good on them. I'm really not trying to dog on them. Like, I want them to make their money however they feel like they need to. Like, I'm not trying to take that away from them, but let's just not pretend that every First Amendment auditor is out there just doing God's work. Some of these auditors, if
Oh
you
yeah.
if you go online, like the one that, has been in the news most recently, is his name is Long Island Audit. His name is Sean Reyes. If you use some uh, data tools and you look at his page, he's making close to, $200,000 a month or
That's
whatever,
so
something
crazy.
ridiculous, right? Um, he's making something
Bro, we're doing it
ridiculous.
all wrong, Mike. We got
I
these
know.
stupid people. We're
He's
doing it all
and again,
wrong.
I'll go do these tools, but he's making great money. He's making great money doing this First Amendment auditing thing, which is good on him, right? Like, but let's not pretend if that money disappeared, he'd still be doing what he's doing, right? And that's okay. Should that take away from his credibility? Should that take away from the achievements you see in him? No. And if it does, that says more about you than it does me, right? I've been in the space long enough. I've been, plainclothes undercover operations with these guys. Like, how they act when they feel like they're in public is way different than how they act when they're just hanging around shooting the shit with everybody else. And so does everybody, right? Everybody's like that. So I don't know why that somehow takes away from how people feel about him. But, I think that if I will say this, I feel like First Amendment auditing, if it's done nothing else, it's progressed us quicker in society than we ever have, right? Because like you said, if you try to do this in the UK, you'd go to jail, right? If you try to do this in other countries,
Yeah,
they'd
that's right.
probably just end your life, right? They'd probably
Like
just
Russia,
erase you.
yeah, Russia won't play around. Russia and
Yeah,
other places
yeah,
won't play around.
they'll erase you. So the fact that these auditors are able to do this in the United States still shows that there's a semblance of freedom that isn't just, whitewashed to the point of, what everybody said. Everybody wants to make it seem like here in the United States of America, like, we're about to all be thrown in the gulag, and it's like, man, you can say that, but if that was really the case,
Go
Sean
overseas.
Reyes wouldn't be making six figures a year, right? Like, let's just call it what it is. Yeah,
Well, it's the
sometimes he
same.
gets
It's just
sometimes a dumb
right.
cop puts handcuffs on him, and yes, sometimes he goes to jail and goes through the booking
Yeah, he
process
baits
and is
them. He's
released.
baiting them. That's what he's doing. He's
But
baiting them.
yeah, yeah, silly wrong. Sean Reyes, yeah, sometimes a dumb cop arrests him and he goes through the booking
Yeah, he's baiting
process.
them.
But guess what? He's released the same day. Like, it's horrible, but let's not pretend like,
Well,
being thrown in the gulag
and I
here.
had people like that in EMS or contract or even military. Like even when I was treating them, they're talking shit. You just gotta learn how to ignore them. And be like, all right, whatever. Like,
Right.
or like sometimes you got to reverse you got to reverse the cards. Like, oh, this guy, he's a chomo or something. Like, you just got to reverse it. It's like, hey. this guy, like, that's what they do in prisons. Like, if you're that much of a douchebag, you're gonna get checked. I've
100%.
noticed, like, I even think like the prisons I've been here when I was getting patients out of them every now and then, I think they look a lot more rough than Gitmo. Like, but at the same time, it's like there's other prisons around the world that's a lot worse than America's. So it just depends where you are.
No, I agree with you. And so I think that, a lot of people, and again, I'm a free speech, I believe in free speech. I took an oath to defend the Constitution just like you did. And your father is an attorney, correct? He's a civil rights attorney,
Retired, yeah.
and so we all respect the Constitution. We all believe in constitutional rights, and I want to make that perfectly clear.
Yeah, he's a First Amendment guys. So
Yeah,
like exactly what you're
we
talking about.
100% are, but at the same time, let's not pretend that what we see with the First Amendment auditing community, right? Let's not pretend that they're here because their only purpose is to, support and defend people's rights, and they would do it no matter what. And if all the money went away, they'd still be out there in the front lines, right? Like I think a lot of people
Well,
it's so easy. So for example, people are trying to make these activists out like they're Martin Luther King, right? It's easy to follow that trail when you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. It's hard when you're actually being truly persecuted like Martin Luther King was, right? So I think
yeah.
that it's a bridge too far when you're trying to compare First Amendment auditors with the people that were first starting the human civil rights movement,
Well,
right? Like, let's not pretend that you're on the same level as Martin Luther King, right? It's like, I think I think what you're doing is cool. I think it's fun. The content I enjoy. I enjoy watching these guys do what they do, and I enjoyed it when I was, on the front lines of this when I was in Portland, Oregon as well. Like, I enjoy watching it. It's made me have to be smarter than I am. There's a reason why I pursued a law degree myself, right?
you gotta
But
cover
let's
your ass.
not, yeah.
CYA.
But let's not pretend, right? Let's not pretend that, these auditors are Martin Luther King and they're out there,
Oh yeah.
they're out there on the front
Listen,
lines. Yeah,
that's
let's
what I
not
tell people.
pretend.
You have the freedom to do whatever you want and say whatever you want, but you don't have freedom of consequence. You fuck up, you fuck up. Like you get rolled up, you get rolled up.
100, yeah.
That's simple. Like if I spit at your face, I expect you to break my freaking jaw. I expect it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whether it happens or not, right? Like, um,
But I mean,
yeah,
law enforcement, that's what you guys deal with. I feel bad for you guys. I've been spit at, pissed at, shit, whatever. Like I had people talk shit too, and like it's you know, a lot of people want to one day like quarterback this shit, but you and I have been in it for so long, even for like contracting, whatever. It's like you gotta know what you can and can't do everywhere you go in the world.
right. And these guys try to, and these first men honors try to play, they're like, hey, and I'm not saying they're
Yeah, they're
not victims in
instigators.
their own way, right? But don't try to akin yourself, right? Because a lot of people are like, well, this auditor got so this auditor Reyes, he got a Long Island audit, he got spit in his face got spit at. He got former Trooper Fahey, whatever, spit in his face while he was trespassing from his property.
Yeah,
Totally
he
wrong.
pushes buttons.
Yeah, totally wrong. He shouldn't have done it, right? There was an arrest affidavit put out on him, right? Totally should not have done that, and it's totally wrong, right? Shouldn't have done that. What is Sean lawful to go on his property, knock on the door, right? From a case law perspective, I've already talked about this. Man, it's not something. It's not a crime I would feel comfortable pursuing, right? But with that being said, let's also not pretend because a lot of his partner, a lot of his friend, not a lot of people that look up to him, right? A lot of his fans are like trying to make him out to be like Rosa Parks. Like this was a Rosa Parks moment in history, right? In civil rights history, Sean being spit
You want
at
your mind
was
blown?
it's a
Hey,
Rosa Parks issue, and it's like, bro, this was not a
you,
Rosa Parks moment.
hey, Mike. So the internet rumor is Rosa Parks' husband had a driving license.
Oh man. See, there's that dark veteran humor that I love.
No, but like, I mean, but people, that's my point. People want to start shit with about anything. Like, you can
Right.
start race shit with me all day. You can start, like, I don't care. Like, it's not putting money in my wallet. It's not putting, like, you're wasting time and energy trying to talk shit to me. I'm like, all right, cool, man.
Right. And here's the thing too. People, so here's the other thing. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it live here. So, anyway, the video almost has, I mean, the like views
Oh, you
versus
recorded what we
comments.
said?
Yeah, there's so many
Oh,
comments, dude. There's like people will go on it and comment like how are there so many comments on this versus views, and I'm like, it's just people are that upset. But and again, I don't see how it's controversial to say, hey, people, these auditors, they love their acting and they're putting on a performance
oh
for
yeah, just
they're putting on a performance for showcasing for money, right? They're putting on a show. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. And then they come out and like, well, guess what? You're just acting. You're putting on a show too. And it's like, well, I think I'm being myself, but let's say I am, right? Like I don't care. Like if you feel like I'm doing this just as a show and this isn't who I am, okay, well, what does that change, you know? And then
It
they get
doesn't
even
change
more,
much.
and then they even get more upset, you know, when
Yeah,
they're
it's
like,
rage
"Oh,
baiting. That's what the kids call rage baiting.
yeah,
And
you're just acting," and it's like, okay, so if I'm acting, like, okay, I'm not mad at you for saying that, so why are you mad at me for saying it? Oh, you can't be doing, and dude, they lose their ever loving mind. But it's just funny because again, and I stand by my words, and this is probably going to get a ton of hate from his fans too. But at the end of the day, cool. He's making good money. Let him make his money. He's going out there. He's exposing stuff. He's showcasing stuff. He's getting people interested in learning the law or whatever it is. Like it's fine, but it's like you said at the very beginning. Let's also. I'm not going to detract from reality, right? I'm not going to sit here and placate you because you want to live outside of reality. The point of the matter is reality exists, and this the moment we can't accept reality is the moment we've totally lost in general. You could care about civil rights as much as you want. You can, and this is the one. If there's one case law that sovereign citizens cannot stand and they have zero argument for, it's the argument of what's called judicial review, Marbury versus Madison, and it basically states the United States Supreme Court has the authority to interpret laws. And you cannot be a sovereign citizen and accept that as reality because if you accept that case law that the Supreme Court affirmed, it totally destroys the whole
let me ask you
fabric of your
this.
beliefs.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Who started that whole like ideology or sovereign citizen bullshit? Like that's been more of a
Man,
trend.
so based upon what my understanding is, the movement was actually there is some militia group somewhere. I can't remember exactly. I don't want to say militia is maybe the wrong word. I mean, militia means something different to everybody, but there's this
Like
idea.
Waco type stuff.
Yeah, it's
Like
a
Waco.
belief. It's a belief system that um, our current laws that are currently in place are not they weren't legally assigned. So people will say, right, so we look at our constitution, we look at our government, and without making this a big long, historical thing, right? We know we have three arms of government. We know we have the executive, judicial, and legislative branches. And so we know that the Supreme Court is part of the judiciary and they're allowed to interpret laws. Well, at some point, and they can't exactly say when, but at some point, they have interpreted laws to the point where they just don't agree that it was done lawfully. Therefore, they don't accept it. Right. So they don't accept that you have to drive with a driver's license because they don't accept that law. But when we look at judicial review, that was done in 1803. These movements came after. Right. So again, the idea of judicial review completely they can't accept that case law, right? Marbury versus Madison will completely destroy any sovereign movements, and they won't even address it, right? I've tried to. I'll probably do a video on that soon. I've tried to talk to these people. And a lot of these people are even former cops, that have gone down this rabbit trail. And then when you even bring it up, when you bring that case law up, they'll ignore it. They'll pretend like they didn't hear it, they didn't see it, because literally sovereign citizens cannot stand up to judicial review because judicial review enumerated that power to the Supreme Court, and that was done in the 1800s, right? So, so it's like, again, they want to talk about all this maritime law supremacy and judges are banks and the United States is a corporation, and they're going to use all this verbology and all this verbiage that really means nothing because, again, as we know, judicial review was established and it predates that. So it's like,
Well, it's kind of like the movie Killing Him Softly when Brad Pitt says America's not country, it's a business.
right.
Like that whole mindset. Because
And
like a lot of
so,
people like they think they know the law or constitution, and they forget that shit changed over the years a lot.
right. And
That's why you got to
so,
stay up to date to it. You got to stay up to date.
Right. And so everybody's going to kind of have their own thing on it. I think the sovereign movement really happened. And so if I had to point it in place in time, there was a lot of people that were, practicing this pseudo law when it comes to IRS, right? When it comes to taxes. So I'd say the 1960s. And then when you actually like try to look at this, when you try to pin it down, when it comes to like who really started this stuff, um, and here's the funny part, like I'm going to say that a guy named William Gale, he was kind of the person that really started this movement in the United States. Now, did he get his ideas from somebody else earlier and keeps going? You could absolutely say that, but I would attribute all this stuff to William Gale as far as the sovereign citizen movement. He was a big militia guy. He was a big, all this stuff. People call him whatever. People say he was in part of the Aryan Nation Brotherhood, all this stuff. I don't know. I don't know the guy. I never talked to him. I don't know him. But if you're a part of the sovereign citizen movement, you can't deny his existence, and you can't deny the role he played in the movement that you're a part of. So you just take that for what it is, right? And so without going too
But
far.
that's how you're. That's how you can flip the script on. And be like, oh, I didn't know you supported white supremacy. That's how you flip the
Well, I
script
mean,
on them.
again, I don't know how you can say that you're a part of the sovereign citizen movement and then deny that he was one of the founding fathers of the modern sovereignty.
Well,
I
that's the
don't know
same
how
thing with
you
like
make that.
John Wayne Gacy, or like what was the guy for Waco? The head guy.
Um,
Um,
Gosh, you're putting me on the spot here. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Uh,
well, I feel like it's like the same like mindset. Like they always find loopholes and shit, and then have their ideology, and then they get people following the loopholes. Like, hey, he makes a good point. I'm going to follow this dude. It's like the same thing. That's why I was asking, like, who started this ideology?
yeah, and then the Waco guy. I mean, he was an army, was he a Green Beret or Ranger? Kokesh,
Oh, you're thinking of yeah, you're thinking of Ruby Ridge, or whatever it's called. This is separate
Waco.
from Waco.
No, the Waco massacre, right? That was the Branch Davidians.
I believe so. I'm
Yeah,
not
that
sure. I'm
was
not
yeah, that was David Koresh. That was him.
David Crash. That's
Yeah.
who it is. Yep.
But yeah, no, again, you
You,
can't deny, again, at the end of the day, say what you want, but you can't deny that these are the people that started and
hold on a
made the
second.
movement popular, so take it for what it
Sorry,
is. But
clicking
yeah,
on a button.
so no, and again, and all that to say, right? I will say that I watch sovereign citizen videos almost every day. I watch the First Amendment auditors every day, and the reason why it's so important is because these guys are becoming more and more popular, and I do it because I do believe that citizens and law enforcement
So,
need to be trained on this stuff.
can I say something?
Go ahead.
I feel like social media is also, because I think it's a lot of stuff probably because of social media. The recent shooter out west in Minneapolis or whatever, he did the
Hmm.
same thing a lot of other shooters did that posted on social media. He was writing shit like the white paint on his magazines and stuff like that. And I think the guy in New Zealand shooting years ago at the mosque, he did the same shit, and the other ones did the same shit too. They always write like bullshit on their guns before they carry out their ideology on soft targets.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's a great segue. Like, um, we have to understand that the world around us, especially from a digital nexus, is changing. And people don't realize it. So this weekend, I did Oklahoma's first Shielding Innocence conference here in Tulsa, and it was really good. I got to meet some great people, got to do some good networking. And as you know, I know a lot of my followers may not know, I was a part of the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force for Oklahoma's Eastern District. I did that for a few years, and people just don't realize how bad the social media problem is. People don't realize how
Oh
bad
yeah,
that these nexuses are, because what people that are our age may not understand, like me and you, like we talk on the phone, right? Like we can just hear each other's voice, talk, hang out, like we know that we're talking on the phone. And I know this sounds crazy, but this younger generation, this digital world is their world. Like this is real life to them, right? Social media is real life. People liking their content is real life. Like to them, that's real.
back to that's back to identity crisis I was talking about earlier, man.
That
Like,
matters more to them.
yeah,
Like me
you know,
shaking your
I took
hand
that.
and
You know how many people I've taken down that had more likes than me that like were using my shit or using my combat videos or were talking shit. I'm not gonna say names, but he's in the TCCC community, and also that everyone sucked his nuts because he was supposedly 18D, aka 18 disaster. And I was like, oh, you doxed him. I'm like, no, you're just mad that I found out that his shit was expired and he's a fucking boot bitch talking shit to having his LARPers talk shit to two of my Marines that I saved in combat. Like, eat a dick.
right.
Like, I feel like a lot of these people, when you beat them in their own bullshit, or my favorite was I had a guy, the crisis application group, they used one of my videos without my consent, and it's still up there. They immediately like they went to the wayside, and again, it's about the whole 18 Delta bullshit, or like this facade. That was all 18 Delta cool guy. It's like I get that, but it's like they want to have more likes than actually have like more like money in reality, or they want that clout, like that consistent clout. Like this, they can't fucking stop almost.
No, and
Come on, but
you're 100%. I mean, you're spot on with a lot of this stuff, and again, I've met and I've had to interact with victims, and I've talked with suspects, and I've done the whole gambit, and I can tell you that for these kids, for this new generation, um, getting a like on social media to them is equivalent as me seeing you in real life, giving you a hug and shaking your hand. Like to
yeah, it's
them,
monetary. Attention is monetary to them.
yeah, like to
It
them,
can be. Attention
that's
can be monetary. It can be if you're like a good looking person, you have an OnlyFans. It can be.
yeah, and it's just crazy
Like the
because it's
Catch Me
like,
Outside girl made millions of dollars
right,
for OnlyFans. Like it's wild to me.
yeah, and it's just like for me, like seeing you in real life, giving you a hug, shaking your hand, having a drink with you, like that means more to me than any. Like I could get right now. I'll be honest with you, Jack. Like I could get my next video could hit a million. This video could hit a million views, and that's great. But I would give that away just to go for you to take me to that Italian place and have a beer with you,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Like I would mean more to me
Well,
than
yeah, yeah. Well, same thing. Why do you think I'm going to this tournament in St. Louis? Like, if I pull
yeah,
this off, like one of the guys I treated, I might get my ass beat, but I'm going there to support him. I don't give a fuck. I
yeah.
know I'm not going to be Tim Kennedy black belt fast. Like, I don't give a fuck.
But that means more to me than this video of me and you hanging out, getting a million views, right? But for them, it's the opposite. Like they
Oh
really
yeah.
the views, the likes, the digital affirmation is everything to them. And so it's just, and that we have to, parents have to we have to realize that this is the culture now that we live in. And that's why these OnlyFans models, that's why these people in this digital space are so popular because people don't understand it. Like a lot of parents don't understand it. And it's like, um, I can tell you again, adjudicating these crimes at the highest level, right? I was in Little Rock, Arkansas, on a case, 20 plus counts of CSAM, which is child sex abuse material. So it's abuse pornography essentially on minors, on a child. And I can tell you, having
Jesus.
adjudicated this at the highest level, like these children, this really is they are being groomed and they are participating in a culture that
Well,
says that digital media
my
is real.
dad, yeah, my dad actually back in the day, uh, put a few people behind bars for child pornography. We did computer forensic and stuff like that too. And there's even people, first responders that were dirty too that he represented that were dirty or clean. And it's like nobody's innocent, man. Nobody. Again, it goes back to what I was saying. You can post whatever you want, but you're gonna have consequence, good or bad. And
100%.
people again, they want that clout. Back to what we were talking about earlier. Like, look, I have a nice juicy ass and freaking the gym. Look at, and you got all these simps like it. It's the same thing with these 18 Delta or these SF guys. Like they screwed us over because they won't always think like, oh, we're just puds. Even though we're a little chunky nowadays, like it's just they think like all these SF guys are cream of the crop, which they're human like us. They're not.
Well, and that's
By the end of the day.
100 dude 110%, and that's kind of the thing, like the social media world. I think that's why Tim Kennedy, I think that's why people do what they do, because for some reason, right, like take you, for some reason the world feels like the fact that you have a Bronze Star with Valor, Purple Heart, and that you've done all this stuff, you're not as worthy as somebody who has zero combat deployments, but he's special forces. So since he has that special forces tab indicator,
Well, that's what happened with that's what
MOS,
happened to 18 disaster. That's what happened with disaster Fisher. Like I respect Fisher. I know he's got war medals like I do, Samuel Kermaver, all these other people, but like it was really bullshit that they had their LARPers talk shit to two of my amputees or people that I treated. We treated each other down range and they were talking mad shit. It's like wow, so you're gonna shit on the guys that I treated for your own clout because you want that fucking attention, you want that money to glorify your old days, but you won't help the common man. Like that's why I tell people that are obsessed with like wanting to teach special forces. They only make like 5 or 10% of the military, which I'm not talking shit. I have friends that are special forces,
we all do.
medicines, yeah, we all do. But like, what about the rest of the 80 or 90% of the military? Like again, I guarantee the 80 to 90% of the military, there's still failure in people not doing tourniquets, practicing nine line. Same thing with law enforcement or first responders, like the basics. Master the basics before you spout other bullshit out there, man. And I feel like we're kind of putting the cart before the horse on stuff,
You know,
even with
it's
social media.
it's funny because so it's funny you say that. So I have a whole bunch of stuff like on my wall and everything. You know what's not hung up? Which is funny. It's in this folder right here. I have my SWAT certificate in here, right? I
Yeah.
haven't even put it up on my wall. And it's the same thing in law enforcement, man. Like, could I make a bunch of money just going out and be like, hey, I just want to teach tactical medicine, or I just want to teach tactics to SWAT. I could do, it's the same thing with any organization, right? I could take that and be like, yeah, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. But, it's just like you, like I am happier teaching somebody that wants to learn, knows nothing about their rights, knows nothing about law enforcement. Like this course this weekend, I loved it because I just like teaching everyday people, like parents, right? Teaching parents, teaching teachers, teaching people that have no former nexus into law enforcement or the military, and teaching them this stuff. And I think that for me, I get way more out of that than trying to hyper focus on what people would consider the coolest people in the world. Because again, I've met some great special forces guys, right? Great Green Berets, and then I've met some other
Oh
ones
yeah.
that are
So
like,
I
you're
contract to work
goofy.
with you
I'm
too.
like, dude, and then I've met people that are like, hey man, you're a little goofy. But that's with everybody. Whether you're special or not, you have some really high speed great people, and you have people that are goofy. In law enforcement, it's the same way. Some really great people you meet,
So
and then there's some other people who are like, you're a little goofy. And people may say that about me, and guess what? That's fine, right? But
you
we
know who
shouldn't
I
be hurting each
idolize in
other.
special force. And you remember the movie Black Hawk Down? Who the guy's like, oh, this is my safety finger. He's a fucking doctor for the VA, dude. He's a I think he's drugs or alcohol doctor or like whatever, but or a psych something. But that dude, you don't see like yeah, he's on some podcasts here and there, but like he became a VA doctor trying to help out veterans act back. He actually put in the legwork. And I know a couple guys like that who are grunts or SF and ended up being doctors who are just fucking amazing. Even our current medical director to one of the PAs that we're working with, guys like me and you that saw combat went into public safety or medical and they just shut up and just went about their lives, man. But so many people can't, they don't want to accept that.
Right.
They don't.
And again, it's truly a sad it's truly sad kind of seeing how this all plays out. But let's bring this back full circle if you will. So we've made
Yeah.
some really good headway, man. We've talked about law enforcement training, medical training. We've talked about First Amendment auditors. Um, Let me ask you a question. Since it's one of the topics, and this is probably one of the most hot button topics out there, and we don't have to get it. We can do a
A hot
separate.
topic.
Yeah, I think we could do a separate topic.
Yeah.
I would love to have you and your dad in on this one. We don't have to talk about it like kind of in too much detail, but um, for law enforcement, right? We know law enforcement. Callahan versus Pierce says that there's qualified immunity. And we've talked about this for kind of first responders too. How can we have more transparency with law enforcement, and how can we truly make it better? Do we get rid of qualified immunity? Do we keep qualified immunity? Is there a better way we structure law enforcement? I'll give you my opinion just real quick, and then you can kind of tell me what you think. But I like to take the best things of everything, right? Like when we look at nursing, um,
That's right, my camera.
yeah, when we look at nursing, right? I feel like nurses, what they have that's different than a lot of other people is we know that nursing license, and you're currently going through that process yourself. It takes a lot
The
to get a
pain in the
nursing
ass.
license. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. It costs money, and so for a nurse to lose a
I'm
nursing
still fighting for
license,
my LPN. I'm still fighting for my LPN to California to Ohio, and like it cracks you up. These organizations will be Ohio Board of Nursing and REMT. Like 90% of their people are not even like EMTs or medics. They're just civilian bureaucrats, and that's part of the problem too. Too many chiefs, but not Indians. Like
right? And so
that's
so for nurses, right, the nursing credential license is very difficult to get. So when you
it's
are,
only difficult for this. Can I say something like
yeah,
nurses? Fun fact. Let's say you're not EMTs or medics or whatever. A lot of nurses can't do NPAs. Do you know
yeah,
that?
yeah.
And that's part of the problem I'm talking about. Nobody wants to bridge the gaps. Everyone wants to make money and do their own thing.
Right. And so for nurses, that license means a lot to them. And so as a good punishment transparency tool, you can hold a nurse's license kind of hostage, right? It's good or bad, it means something. For firefighters, right? Firefighters have some of, and you by and large, like there's a lot of national resources for firefighters, benefits, health benefits, stuff like that. Like I know for fire,
Listen though,
well, I
I
know
mean,
for firefighters, like if there's dependency issues, like there are national programs that will take a firefighter for a month.
a lot of them are bullshit. Like I'm telling you, this is another thing. The system.
Sure,
Like there's firefighters that get fucked on like cancer shit, just like veterans do. I know that for a fact. Seeing with law enforcement, first responders, military, like there's people that like that had shit in their bodies exposed to all this bullshit in the BWC or whatever, like workers' comp. They're like, nah, it's part of your job. Go fuck yourself. Like that's that whole mindset.
sure. Um, So yeah, I guess I can see that. I just know that I've met firefighters that have had alcohol dependency issues, and the National Firefighter Association literally sent them for 2 months to an inpatient treatment that was paid for by the organization.
Oh
And
yeah, they got the money. Yeah, like if they're like a major city like Columbus, like they definitely like Save a World, all these other alphabet soup organizations. They do have like mental health resources.
right,
However, however, the department, if you go to those places, you're gonna get judged. You're gonna kind of like get blackballed.
sure.
I known people that has happened to where they went to go get help and then end up getting fucked.
Sure.
That's one of
I
the
yeah, and I don't deny that. But when I look at the resources that are available, like for example, for law enforcement, I don't know anything that resembles even close to that. One thing about the military that I do like, the benefits as far as obviously I think the VA is a total joke, but the disability that's available, again, total
Mike,
joke, but there are hoops you can jump in through to get that
Mike,
education. What's up?
Mike. Recently, they told me that my shrapnel was not service connected, even
That's
when I was going through.
hilarious.
I
That's
have a picture of it too, but yeah, like 'cause my family actually paid out of pocket to shrapnel on my face and stuff like
right.
that too. And
And
then they
so,
found more in my leg and my body in
so,
recent years.
but what's a way you can hold military accountable, right? We have something that very little other
Get rid
places
of
have.
DHA.
Well, you have
Get rid
that,
of
but you also
DHA.
you
I'm
have
joking. I'm joking.
no, I know, but you have that
Or am I?
dishonorable discharge classification, right? Like that's huge. If you have a if you get a dishonorable discharge from the
Oh,
military,
I know. I hope the guys get their other honorable and dishonorable. I help the guys over the years with their upgrades, especially guys I served with.
right?
They're like combat veteran. Like I had to help a few of them get their shit together. It's a pain in the ass to get up to other honorable or honorable. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, so you see what I mean? So there are when I look at other job classifications that have some semblances to law enforcement, I'm like, well, how do you hold more people accountable? Well, if you gave law enforcement better benefits that other organizations have, that could help. If an officer does something bad, right? If they get charged with a crime, like if you get charged with a crime in the military, they can kick you out with a dishonorable discharge, right? That's possible. You've known guys,
Or
we've known
ruin your
guys.
life.
Yeah. And so
Oh
why
yeah.
does law enforcement not have some kind of dishonorable discharge classification that we can put on it? So there are things that I feel like can be
They do
done.
and they don't.
Well, the Brady
Oh
list means
yeah.
nothing.
I mean,
This is what I'm saying. Like if a cop, let's just say you had a cop violate somebody's rights, gets in trouble, lies on an affidavit, what's going to happen? He's going to be put on the Brady list. You're going to take his certification away forever. He could become a truck driver tomorrow. Zero issues. Zero. I mean, what are you going to do? And what's the agency going to say when they ask for a review? We can't talk about it, right?
the agency doesn't want to spend. Well, yeah, they want to cover their asses. They want to spend money, time, resources to fire them or cover. Like, look at the girl. What was it, the one chick that got ran through her apartment, Megan,
Oh,
whatever her name is.
wasn't that where you're from too? Ohio?
No, no, that was Tennessee, dude.
Tennessee,
I mean,
that's
granted,
right.
it probably happens. It probably happens here. It happens everywhere. Like, let's be honest about that. Well, let's be real. In the military or public safety, they don't report shit like they're supposed to. Like whether it be sexual assault or fraternization, it happens a lot. And I know
Oh,
everybody wants to pretend it doesn't, but it
every
does.
industry, man. Medical is probably the worst, I think. Hospitals.
Oh, nurses. Yeah, nurses. Yep.
Weren't you telling me something
I
about
mean,
nurses?
I have a lot of friends.
What's the stat you sent
Nah,
me?
like, well, nurses, cops, firefighters, military, we're all like, dude, it's hard to date us because we're kind of like we're good at we like what we do, but also like we come with red flags. We come with like a lot of like baggage, if you will, and it's hard to be
Drama.
fit. Like with divorces skyrocketing now. Like I'm
Right.
not surprised. Even some of the guys I worked with guys that had like two or three wives, a bunch of kids. Like I don't know how they do it, man.
So
I,
I think if we want to make law enforcement better, we got to be real honest with ourselves. I think I would
oh
come
yeah,
up with
us in
kind of
general.
yeah, I would come up with So I think that pay benefits need to be better. I think it needs to be harder to get a license. I think that if you mess up, there has to be something like the way the military has, where you can get a dishonorable discharge classifier that's put on you. I think if you were to do
Actually,
these things,
the
I think,
military, the military, if you have fraternization or if you sleep with somebody's wife, they destroy you compared to like firefighting, police, and nursing. Like
yeah,
nursing, like oh whatever, they're banging away. Unless you're like a CEO, you get kind of like a Coldplay like
yeah.
concert. But even, like people have affairs all the time, man.
Yeah. And so that's the thing. Like there's ways to
We're all
hold
humans.
hold them accountable. And then I think for qualified immunity, I don't have a problem with it. Because if we were to be smart and we were to say, hey, we're going to create a jury instruction, a law that says if a law enforcement officer violates somebody's rights, like here are the jury instructions, like they can be charged, they wouldn't have a qualified immunity argument by case law. So I think that people hyper focus on qualified immunity as a fix all, and I don't think it'll fix anything. I think if, because I'll be honest with you, my police credential, it doesn't really mean a whole lot. I'm gonna be real honest with you. Like
Oh,
my
what's in a
advanced
fire
certificate,
EMS, dude?
yeah, my advanced certificate
Depends
is
what
like,
state you go to. They don't give a fuck. Like, oh, that's cool. You're going to do our academy again. I've been to the academy like before and after military. It sucks dick trying to restart over again. It
yeah,
sucks.
it's just the license itself really doesn't mean a whole lot because it doesn't require a whole lot of knowledge to have it, right? Doesn't really mean anything compared to a nurse or a doctor. Or these it means a lot. Right? Even a barber to get a barber license requires, it requires you to have some skin in the
Let me
game.
ask you this, Mike.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. What do you think is the average cost of a corpsman training? A corpsman, just general corpsman, like one corpsman.
I don't know
Give
what
me.
it was now because
All
I
right.
know they do a bunch of joint stuff, but I imagine it has to be around 60, 70,000 just for that, right?
Well, not just that, but like think about it. Like you and me, right? I went. I went. Hold on a second. I'm trying to. People are trying to call me. I'm trying to hang up on 'em. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Oh, what was I going to tell you? Yeah. Toilet Remember what we're talking about. Sorry, this person keeps blowing up my phone. You might have told him I was in the meeting.
No, you're good. No, just I can tell you the training that I went through, like my pipeline. I mean, I'm not, and again,
Oh
I'm,
yeah, money cost.
yeah,
So yeah, corpsman, right? Let's say you're going to Afghanistan, right? I went from blue side, so like went through boot camp, went to corpsman school, which you and I met at the Great Lakes, the best.
yeah,
Not for saying I know each generation shits on each other, but we should unify. But anyway, it's a separate subject. But yeah, my journey as a 5-year corpsman probably cost millions of dollars. Same with you. As a
easy.
star corpsman, you probably yeah, like you flying around in a little helicopter getting people out of the ocean probably cost millions of dollars.
Dude, I can't
But
imagine. And then all
people
the,
don't understand that with contracting too. Like especially when we go across the planet, that costs a pretty penny.
yeah,
Especially
with,
going to Ukraine, Gaza, like some of the people I worked with, like that costs a pretty penny.
dude, all the training that I went through, all the hotel stays, all the,
Oh yeah, the
because I
meals,
mean, yeah, you have deployments, and
yeah,
then you have all
beds.
these expeditionary, things that you do. You have all these, um, I don't call it deployment at all, but you have all these short humps, right? That, I have been on countless humps where it's like I'm only out for a month or 3 months. Like I don't call that a deployment. Some people do. But you have all these other things that you're going
That's
on.
what when people call stateside deployments. Like, you want to deploy to Texas? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking
Yeah.
about? I'm just going down there.
Right. But, like you look at all this stuff costs a lot of money. Like
Oh
when I
yeah,
went to the Army Flight Medic program, because we didn't have the Navy Corpsman, the Navy did not have its own flight medic program. So we went
I
through
know. Yeah,
Walker.
you guys went through
Yeah.
FPC. Yeah, I know.
They
I know the
would,
whole history on
yeah.
that too. Yeah.
Yeah, they wouldn't let us stay on site. We were not allowed to stay on the military barracks side. We had to go. I was in like a 4-star hotel. It had a mineral pool, dude. Like, and I stayed there for the 4 or 5 months it took to get through that course. And so they were paying tens of thousands of dollars
Who
just in
was
housing.
the company? Was it a third? Was it a subcontractor contractor company?
No,
Or
it's
was it
just
the army?
no, it was the Army. So it was the Army Flight
That's
Medic
it.
course.
That's
Um,
probably That's probably DHA with NREP with FPC or whatever that organization
yeah.
is. Also,
I
you
have
have
it right
multiple
here.
organizations make money.
I have it right here. I'll tell you. Here's my certificate on the wall. Um,
Yeah,
with
it's probably worth millions of dollars.
yeah,
Like the amount of
academic
like training went
health
through.
sciences, AMEDDC. Yeah, United States
Mike, can you show us?
Army.
I mean, I'm not trying to. Oh damn! I thought you were going to show us.
What's that?
I thought you were going to show us.
Oh, you want to see it?
I want to see it because like then I can answer a question, be like, oh, that's FBC or whatever. Let me see.
So I'm posting my receipts for everybody. I don't know if I want
MIDD.
everybody knowing my name, but hey, it's out there, I guess.
No, yeah, well, it's been out there. You can Google both me and you. That's fine. Um,
Um,
that's probably DHA, man.
Probably.
Yeah. But the point is, DHA is their alpha. So with DHA also runs the VA.
So for everybody
Um,
that said I
yeah,
didn't do it, or they wanted Tim Kennedy me, there's my certificate. But you see what I mean? Like the amount of
oh,
money
yeah.
that they have spent on us. Um, and let's be honest, law enforcement does not spend that kind of money. First responders, they don't spend that kind of money on us to
Well, they spend it. They're bad with their money. You know how many guys I dealt with where go, oh, I can't afford a tourniquet. It's like a $30 fucking cat tourniquet. They put like a red dot on their Glock or like a fucking TRL light. I'm like, all right, motherfucker. Like, I caught people stealing my stuff too. Like, I'm not gonna say names, military and civilian. Like, I caught people stealing my shit over the years too, or using my shit. So
really.
like, yeah, they're all like, oh, we're broke, but they're paid did pay like six figures. Like, all right, dude. Like, you can afford a $300 class or $30 tourniquet. Like, come on, who are you for?
But here's the thing. The problem is like, and I saw a Navy SEAL not too long ago, Vet Bro Space. I agreed with this part, but he was talking about like,
What's his name?
dude, I'm not gonna say. I ain't gonna say because you know this guy.
Sean Ryan.
Yeah, I ain't gonna say. I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna cause that beef here. I ain't gonna cause that
I
beef.
mean, I respect Sean. I'm not going to say his name, dude, because like they're out there, just like you and I are out there. Like,
Yeah. But
for all combat veterans and kumbaya. You know,
he was saying that he's like the amount of training because he was making a law enforcement reference, and he was like the amount of training that has been invested in me from the time I joined boot camp to the time I got my pin was millions of dollars, which I get that. But when you look at law enforcement,
oh yeah,
like you take an average law enforcement officer, right? He will go through an academy. It may not even be a live-in, but let's say he goes through a live-in academy and then he goes through a 3 month, 4 month tops FTO program. I mean, you could literally have a guy on the road and the total investment, including housing, maybe $50,000, including his salary, maybe $60,000, and he's on the road
yeah.
by himself and he has the ability to take life. And you ask him, do you know what reasonable articulable suspicion is? And he's like, I don't even know how to spell that. Right. And that's the problem because we're asking law enforcement. And again, a lot of people may disagree with this, and that's fine. I don't care. Law enforcement officers, you are asking us to go into situations where people are unable or unwilling to fix their own problems. And you're expecting us to handle real life issues, whether that's domestics, burglary in progress, drug issues, medical emergencies. Like you're asking us to go into the community and deal with these high stakes issues, and you are only willing to invest the bare minimum that I don't even I think is negligent, but you're offering a bare minimum template to get the guy on the road, and you're expecting him to act like he is the most utmost professional in the entire world, right? Like how do you get a kid that's 21, 22 years old, no life experience, maybe has a college degree, you give him $60,000 worth of training to include his housing, right? So he goes through a bunch of PowerPoint presentations, does a course of fire, does a driving course, maybe does 10 to 15 hours total of live simulation role playing, and then you put him on the road and say, "Yeah, go ahead. You have the ability to take somebody's life, fix everything." It's negligent.
Well, it's the same thing with military, dude. I mean, the best job I had in military was being a coyote. Because you see different mindsets. You see same but different, like how everyone's either on same, um,
You worked with the
same
Purple
not
Coyotes out
reboot,
there,
same.
right? The
No,
HMS.
no, 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 no.
Or, go
No,
ahead.
no, no, no. TTCG was a separate. It's
Oh,
basically
okay.
when people deploy with maybe a Marine Corps or even SF, because we had PJs there too. We had basically millions of dollars each month spent in the middle of the desert, people doing live rounds, mock towns, all that shit.
Right.
It's interesting seeing people from like low tier to high tier, how they do business with medical to tactics. Some are actually better than others, especially ones that are supposed to be tips of the spear. I'm like, damn, these guys were like X, Y, and Z. Damn, they're fucking doing better than the active guys, or doing better than the reserve or guard guys. Because it's the same thing with the military. How like I was this person who trains, the same thing with law enforcement and firefighting. The nursing I've seen over years. I've seen so much. I've been to so many fucking conferences and training where it was either a waste of money time or it was good as shit. I loved live tissue. I loved doing other courses other than just trauma. It's
Right.
the same thing with law enforcement is like, or even public safety. We spend money on stupid fucking shit. Random everybody should at least. There's even cops that they don't. There's some departments that get paid shit and they have to pay for their own fucking tourniquets. I'm that
Yeah.
serious.
Well, and I think
That's so asinine to me. Like you're at risk of getting fucked up. You should probably have a tourniquet or something or an iPad near you or
well,
on you.
and that was the biggest, I'll be honest, when I made that transition to law enforcement, that was like the biggest thing that kind of shocked me is um so for me, and this is kind of funny, before I took this state job, I was working I was working at a PD, and before I became a state agent, criminal investigator, um, when I got my gear, like my gear issue is garbage. And when I mean garbage, bro,
Oh
I
yeah.
mean it was so garbage. It's funny because I'm looking at it right now. I won't grab it because I have other stuff. But you know those Lowe's totes with the yellow top?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm looking at three of them right now in front of me, and
Well,
I put all the gear that they get that was issued to me because it was when I say garbage, brother, like this was such garbage, like I wouldn't even LARP in it. I wouldn't go airsofting in it, right? And so I put I put this
are you
in
telling
totes.
something like that, Mike? You LARP? Is that what you're
I said
telling?
I would. I said I wouldn't even LARP in it. Wouldn't even LARP in
Oh.
this gear. I don't have time to
I'm
LARP.
just saying, I know all your haters are probably saying, "Oh, he's just a larper. He was not even a corpsman. He was fucking."
And that's cool.
Yeah,
And that's the thing. Like, it's one of those things where you're not gonna ever gonna get me for stolen valor, but like you, like I can my military stuff,
I
like
just don't care anymore,
it's just don't
honestly.
care, right? So I gave back the gear, and they're like, "What? I did you even use?" I'm like, "Why would I use this? Like, all the gear I had, I was my own gear." And I say that because like the gear that a lot of law enforcement get is so garbage that I'm not going to depend with my life on it. And that's one of the things that I had to realize early on. And one of my first instructors in the police world told me, if it's your life, nobody cares about it more than you. Um, if you want good gear, you're gonna have to pay out of pocket for it. And in the military, I was lucky enough being SAR, I got issued a lot of great gear. I still have a lot of that gear. Um,
Not the gross. But we had good gear, but bad gear. Like the
yeah,
Navy, Marine Corps, we get sloppy seconds. I mean,
sure,
obviously, Air Force get the most well-paid branch, or same space, but whatever. I could be wrong, but like, you could just like I was saying earlier, not all units have that SF budget.
sure.
The same thing with law enforcement, public safety, nursing. Not everybody's like high-speed flight nerds or
But
high-speed
I
SWAT
want to,
teams operator. Like
I
nobody
want to
can afford
think,
that,
and again,
or not many.
even before I deployed, right? We go through a lot of these pre-deployment classes, and they're taught by guys like you. Like at least the military, I will say they train a lot more than law enforcement does. I think Jocko Willink made a great point. Now he's a Navy SEAL; he kind of does has his own thing, but you know, it's funny because it just shows you even how out of touch someone like Jocko Willink is when he's like, "Well, I think law enforcement should train a fifth of the time, like 20, at least 20% of the time should be training, or even more, 50% should be training." Like,
Let me
there's
ask you this,
no
Mike.
way from a budgetary standpoint to make that happen. And I get it because as a military, we train, and then we go out and do that mission set for months or a couple months or maybe 6 months to a year, and you're constantly training and you do it, and then you come back, you rotate out and you keep training. Law enforcement is completely different. Like you get your initial training and then you're expected to go out, do it live for the next 20 years and fit training inside as you can. And it's a totally different training mindset.
So, anywho, like, yeah, I agree with you on some of the things, but like I was saying, prime example here, what I deal with. So, I try to get law enforcement, first responders, veterans to go to a 24-hour open match gym for jujitsu. It's like $30 a month. You can go there, kind of like Fight Club shit, Kimura Trap House, like you roll there all hours of the night, whenever you want. You just have the access code, go in, roll, clean the mat, dip out. That's the shit I'm talking about. Where like I was like, oh, I don't have enough time. I want to do rolls or oh, I want to do this. I'm like, yeah, but like if you make time or if you hip pocket it, if you do it consistently, then you'll be more of value. Like for example, the people I dealt with in the Iraq embassy, they do TCCC training at least an hour a week. Even if they're guarding all these fucking embassy people, wherever the fuck. Like it's not like Benghazi 13 hour type shit, but like it's kind of stupid that they're not allowed to have cat tourniquets over there for certain people. It's fucking stupid. I mean, they have soft teas where, but like that's shit I'm talking about. Is like everyone wants to reinvent the wheel, but nobody wants to like stick with what works and then adjust from that. The most dangerous thing that people could say is, "Oh, we've always done it this way." Well, if you keep like not switching up your tactics, or not having your gear up to par or whatever, you're gonna get
Brother,
fucked up.
I
Well, that's
completely
it.
I completely agree with you. And here's the thing. Like I agree with you, right? Like police training is subpar. It's not by and large, I don't believe that academies, especially today's day and age, I don't believe academies are super effective. Defensive tactics, I don't believe defensive tactics training the police academies do and police do is I think guys like you and guys like me that go out and roll on our own time and go out and do this stuff, I think we're much more competitive than our counterparts that try to fit in a 4 hour course a year.
Listen, I know I'm fat, but I can still take you out of the building. I
100%.
know that like I can still run a mile and a half or do like bare minimum. Like dude, the Garda thing for Haiti when I was offered that job, like 19 sits in 2 minutes, like mile and a half, 17:30, and like 12 to M9 and shotgun or whatever the fuck. And it's like, dude, if you can't do that, even as a cop, or like even like that's what I tell all my clients. I'm like, look, man, like what if you're gonna get somebody that you're gonna get fucked up by? There's a video I show. I told you about the guy, the honey badger guy or whatever. He does like similar to what you do, but he shows like body cams of cops and he gives this
Yeah.
little spiel. It's interesting because he's still fighting for his thing. Like I say, there's a video that I used for my class, and I told him this too. Like, um, there's basically swap. To make a long story short, they dealt with the guy who had mental health issues. Stolen valor guy is like, blah blah blah. Like, I don't give a shit about the stolen valor stuff. I give a shit that like the guy's like, hey, I'm armed. He went back inside. Nobody like blitzed him right then there. Which again, armchair quarterback. I got my ass handed to me on scene a couple times. You got my ass handed to me by old ladies that beat the shit out of me. It happens. Anywho, um, if this guy that they went against, the guy stopped. He stabbed three SWAT operators. He stabbed them. He held them up for 5 hours.
Yeah,
This
you
guy
sent me
was
that video. Yeah.
yeah, if they were like me and you, or like had some public safety or some common sense with AR, those guys would be fucked.
Well, I think it's a combination. We talked about it briefly. I think it's a combination of confidence, skill set, and then also policy, right? A lot of these guys are probably scared to act because they didn't want to lose their job, and that's a whole nother subject, probably for another day. But ultimately, I think that here's the thing about the military too that I have to give it kudos for. It's kind of like you mentioned, like me and you. Jack, we're self-starters, right? Like I'm gonna work out because I want to. I'm getting my education not because law enforcement requires it, but because I feel like it's so important that there's a reason why I went out and got my law degree. There's a reason why I'm constantly studying this stuff is because we're
Stats is the
self-starters.
worst college. I hate stats. That's probably my least favorite college.
I, I
I
agree.
hate stats.
I agree, brother. All I'm trying to tell you is at least we are attempting to better ourselves because we're self-starters. You can't expect the average person will not do that. It's kind of like in the military. The reason why they have to do PT and the reason why they force you to wake up and we had to wake up and do that is because they know that if they do not have these standards, compliance to those standards will not be done voluntarily. And that's the problem. We have to at some point we have to recognize it and realize that you only have one of two options. You either enforce standards or you only hire people that are self-starters. And at an agency like the Columbus Police Department, they have thousands of officers. There's no way you're going to find thousands of self-starters that are going to do the right thing.
There's some people that are good at Columbus Police. I will give them credit where it's
No, they
due. Like
are,
they
but
actually,
you're not going to find a whole police department of self-starters. It's not going to happen.
no, like there's some that have like a strong influence. Social media. There's some like Badge, like I told you, there's a couple others that like yeah, there's some TikTok cops or whatever, but then there's some that are legit. Like probably the guy I look up to for Columbus Police. A couple of my guys is Jake Fields. I went to high school with him. He took out one of the shooters in the short north. I mean, he's a good solid. He's also a combat veteran Marine. I look up to him. I look up to the dad's team with my friend Kevin Disseldorf. I look up to like Dave Freitag. He's a black belt and he has his own gym, but he actually teaches cops and gives them discount. Like
Right.
there are people out there like you and I out there are like mine say, hey,
Oh,
look, how can we benefit? How can we better ourselves and other people while we're doing it? Like, how can we empower people? But then there's some people that are lazy and vicious. And they just want to cut corners and ends up fucking everybody else.
and that's the problem,
So they're
dude. Like
greedy.
these police departments, like you're just not you cannot expect everyone in your police department to be a self-starting guy that's just going to that's going to make himself
They're
better.
in the military.
Yeah,
There's male influencers too, male influencers,
that's why
whatever the
you
fuck you
have to
want to say.
enforce standards. That's why you force these guys, hey, if you don't get up and you don't go to the PT field, there's going to be consequences. That's you have to force the standard. Law enforcement doesn't do that. So law enforcement has to figure something out. How do we enforce the standard or how do we only hire people that are self-starters? And there's really no way that you can do
Well,
it without some significant
can I
change.
can I say something? politics, east side, whatever, left, right, middle, whatever. I think everything got political nowadays. There's issues with the Civil Service Commission where it can be reverse racism to non-reverse racism to, oh, we got to hire people as a check in a box for the city. We want more votes. Like that's a whole thing in itself. That's
I
left. That's the whole thing in itself, dude. Like literally, like I've known guys who were on the waiting list for years for Columbus Fire and Columbus Police who I would trust my life. And there's some people that I'm like, how the fuck's this dude a paramedic or how the fuck's this person a firefighter or cop or
because they look
nurse?
like me.
Well, not necessarily. There's people that always fall through the cracks, but at the same time, like, look, man, I served in the military during Obama 2014. I get it. You know, a lot of bad shit happened in our country. I get like, hey, I voted for Obama the first time when I was in college. It happens. You know, just to get laid or just to tell people they want. That's what college and society has taught me. Post military is telling you. It teaches you how to tell people what they want to hear. But
There you
people
go.
don't like to hear the truth. They don't want to hear the truth. The truth hurts, and pain
Yeah.
retains.
100%, man. Like, let's be honest. You know how many people are going to hate
I don't
this
give a shit.
podcast
I
we're
don't
doing?
care. Like
I know. I'm
I
just
don't
telling you,
care.
like,
I don't
they're going
care.
to
Like
hate this podcast, and I love it because it's two guys
let
just
me,
explaining
let,
the
let me tell you,
truth
this is
behind
what I
things.
tell a lot. I remember years ago, it was during like the balloon thing. I was still teaching class at like other bases, right? I'm not gonna say names, but I had it was during the Chinese balloon thing,
Right.
and I had a guy who was an army medic who's Chinese, but they thought he was a spy, and I had like answer stuff for like certain agencies, like no, he's cool. Like even if he is, that's on the army and DHA side. That's their fault. They should have vetted him, and we're not teaching classified shit anyway. But like anyway, I remember like they're like, oh, the T triple C like OPSEC this and that. I'm like, yeah, but if there's Chinese slides of this, they also have our shit. It's the same thing with law enforcement. Like if people have like the Waves app or like Pulse Point or whatever the fuck, they're gonna know where you are. If they want to fuck you up and ambush you, they can. Will. Like everything is things so open access now. You know, even though I'm a little chonky, like I try to get myself like aware because you know if I go back in the contract again, I gotta be in shape. I gotta be aware because I know that the world does not like America, and I know that people don't like the way we're living, and that's they're gonna have haters no matter what, man. And it's
Yeah.
international.
No, 100. Here's the thing. You're not wrong. 110%. And again, it just goes back to this. It goes back to this general understanding that we have to have that, there. And again, I don't hold water for anybody, neither do you. There's a lot of things that law enforcement needs to get better at. But until we can accept the reality, it's just not going to be better. And that's kind of the short. Unfortunately, that's why.
Here you go, Mike.
No, you're
Here's all
good.
the people that call me out for my shares.
I like it.
Yeah, like hold on. Like here's my patches.
Yeah,
I even got stuff from like Russia and Ukraine, and
I like
yeah.
it.
See, like I don't give a shit. Like all my other medals, like I don't care. Like you know,
Right.
it's I
It's
have nothing
fun.
to prove yet, nothing to
It's
prove.
fun. It's fun to look at. It's fun to,
I got paddle.
yeah, I like to look at it like that it's here.
Talking Tim Kennedy. I'm just kidding.
But
Give me
yeah,
that dick. I'm
yeah,
just
there you
I
go.
don't give a fuck. Like,
Yeah.
and
And
you know
it's
what's
just
funny? Like I remember after they made us fucking pay for that shit. A fucking Purple Heart cost 50 or 60 bucks. Like those motherfuckers. You
yeah,
got
that's
to pay
crazy.
$100. Not like Marine Corps Navy always killed me with that shit, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
you got a uniform on. Yeah, all this other bullshit. Yeah.
yeah. And so it goes back to this just general understanding that um there's not going to be a one-way fix all.
This is probably my favorite.
Yeah, I like that.
And you know what's funny? I won that without EMT. So I had my pals before my EMT. So that's a big fuck you to certain organizations too. Because
There
they
you go.
fucked over corpsmen on their EMT nursing, dude. You know that. I know that.
Yeah, yeah. No, you're right. And so, this idea that we're going to fix this problem with police and we're going to hold them accountable with only First Amendment auditing is, again, it goes back to the thing that you're missing the whole bigger picture here. I get it. You're upset. I get it. Cops are doing things they shouldn't do. But if you think that First Amendment auditing is just going to fix this issue, it's not. It's
No,
multifaceted, and we all have to do there. There has to be everybody has to play a part in it, or else you're not. But they know that, and that's why again, it's a clickbait.
well,
It's a clickbait
well,
money grab. So,
you know what's also another clickbait money grab?
which is
When
good
I'm
for
talking
them.
about Palestine. Yeah, it's the same thing with like the people I know, the humanitarian groups I trained for Gaza and Ukraine, Israel, you know, on each side, right? And for medical stuff. Everybody wanted war clout, war tourism shit over there too. I've noticed too. And it cracks you up when people try to argue about like Palestine. Like, all right, well, the old TCCC slides say, like, you remember the old TCCC slides, the MP or whatever, before they went to CMC?
Yeah,
Who talks about the raid of Entebbe? I talk about that. People are like, why is that important? I'm like, well, and how his brother was killed on that, and the PLO is pre-Hamas. So like, history repeats, man, and people don't want to relearn their history. I mean,
Yeah.
that's human nature, man. I
Yeah.
mean,
No.
like racism, like all sort of shit, it's going to be around even when we're gone. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
No, it's yeah, no,
People are going to hate you no matter what. Like even if
yeah.
you're in the wrong, it doesn't fucking matter.
History is gonna repeat itself, and I guess what we're doing is just trying to save as many lives down the road as possible with various things, right? I want cops to be better medically trained. I want them to be better tactics trained, but I also want them to be smarter. I don't want them to violate people's rights. And same with you. You want people to survive the encounter. You want them to go home at night, and they're not going to do that being dumb, right? They got to be smart and they got to
Oh,
accept the science. And I mean, it is what it is. The science is there.
science, you can't argue with facts, whether it be science, math, or even history. Like it's if it happened and it has happened and continues to happen, it's probably some truth there. Just like when one side's saying this, the other side's saying this. There's always a truth somewhere in the middle. Always,
Yeah.
9 times out of 10.
110%. Well, brother, I think this was good. I think we logged some hours on this. You have any final words for the people of the people that follow me here at Solution Based Law Enforcement?
If you guys want medical training, let me know in advance. And if you guys need help with VA or whatever, just let me know. Like I'm doing pro bono, like not the class pro, it depends. But if you need help with like stuff like life advice or like other stuff, like Mike's a pretty good dude too. Like I don't know, man. Like we're trying to figure this out just like everybody else. And
So I'm
I
definitely
don't
gonna
know.
plug your stuff. I'm gonna plug your stuff in there. So if you guys want to find him, do training, if you want to cut through, honestly, and I mean this, if you guys want to cut through the red tape, he has told me to link this stuff, contact him directly. If you need individual training, your organization
We
does.
don't gatekeep. We don't gatekeep. We
He
actually
does
try to
not,
help
yep,
people. But
does not gatekeep. So if you are serious about this and you're serious about getting your organization trained or yourself trained, I will personally say and vouch you're not going to find he's one of the best people when it comes to what he does, when it comes to medical training, when it comes to stop the bleed, when it comes to first aid, when it comes to doing this stuff in real life, having done it, having all the receipts, unlike Tim Kennedy, right? That's a joke. But if you want to learn from the very
we can
best,
probably beat both their
this
asses,
this
maybe.
is yeah, I know. This is the guy. Like again, his
See, I
resume
admit that.
speaks
I'm
for
not afraid of that. Like I'm
his
not. I don't give
resume
a
speaks
fuck.
for himself. The receipts speak for himself. He's one of the best in the world at what he does, and he's willing to share it without gatekeeping. If you pass up an opportunity like this, it's because you don't care. That's just what it comes down to.
You know,
He's the
and
guy.
that's why back to what I said earlier. Like I don't care what they say. If they hate us, I don't give a shit. Like that's if you take time out of your day to talk shit, and I really wasted your time, you didn't waste mine.
So
That's simple.
there you have it, Jack. It's always a privilege. It was always a privilege. Let's promise to do this again, no matter how busy we get. Let's do this
Oh, I
again
know.
soon. Let's do this again soon. But I appreciate it, guys. We'll see you on the next one.